And Watchdogs ban.
Viola ban.
And Pitudos ban. Pitudos, 15 seconds. And Watchdogs ban.
Ban.
Sorry, one more time.
Kane.
Kane ban coming out. And Pitudos pick. And Watchdogs pick. Fifteen seconds.
Kane. We'll pick Finn.
And Watchdogs ban.
Ban Sky.
Pitudos ban. And Pitudos pick. Watchdogs.
Hmm.
10 seconds.
Adagio. For one pick.
And Watchdogs last pick.
So.
10 seconds.
So.
Also, okay. And Pitudos. Give us your last pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna play all about you.
And we do see the Inara. Gumpy, if you can go ahead, what do you think is going to happen in this game? Who won the draft? Who won the early game? Who won the late game? Which team do you think is going to take it?
Could I see the draft again?
Sure, we can just pop right back
If
over to that draft. Here you go.
Yeah, so I'm really interested about that Ozo pick because Ozo in threes, he does have damage, but I think he's also one of those heroes that doesn't scale that well into the real late game. Uh, so I think I would give the slight edge to Inaras and Black Feather because Black Feather's scales really well, and they definitely have the later game.
Yeah.
However, with Watch Dogs, they do have the Adagio, right? So that is a lot of mid-game pressure, especially that they have. With Finn, when he gets to his power spike at level 8, and then Adagio, Ozo, mid-game is going to be very strong for them too. So I think it's going to be some good team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see the Ozo into the Inara. The Inara is one of those heroes that's able to just absolutely take over the jungle pretty much whenever she wants to. But however, she does like to do quite a bit of burst damage. Where if Ozo can sustain through that, he's kind of like that big powerful bruiser that can heal up, and that's going to be quite a bit of an interesting matchup. I do think the Inara is a little bit better, but it could be interesting, like you said, mid game.
Yep, I do like the Black Feather though. Even as a first pick, they know what they want. This is, of course, Pitudos, the defending champions, or defending winners of the previous tourney, and this is their first game of the day, after, of course, getting a pass due to winning the first tourney.
That's right, and perhaps the teams have a little bit more time to experiment here in this round because this is a best of three. Maybe you're holding some pocket picks, hoping that you can win, and you don't want to show your absolute strongest picks this early into the tournament.
Yep, I could definitely see that. There's a few picks that I think myself are really strong that haven't been seen that often, and gotta mention here also that Watch Dogs team is almost an exact replica of their first game. Instead of Ozo of the Cruel, that is the only change. They really do like their Adagio and Finn.
Yep, that is right. It looks like they do like that, and why not? We saw how strong that Adagio was just absolutely chunking the enemy team. However, they are playing against the last tournament winners here. So just before we get into the game, who do you think takes game one here, Gumpy?
I think I would if the game goes on after a while and it's not a complete stomp, then I would give the game to Pitudos. They just have a better scaling one with Black Feather and Inara. It's just better all around, especially in the late game.
Well, okay, we are going to have to see if that is what actually ends up happening. I'm just going to do... Gumpy, if you can just give us a little bit of analysis. I may need to change a couple things on stream here.
All right. So basically, the level 1 rotation, this is what expected from them. Adagio, I think, is slightly better here. So they're not that scared. They know they have some sort of damage. I'd really want to see them go for the Elder Treant as soon as possible, though. Let's see if they do that. And yes, they're definitely trying to be aggressive. And no, I believe, yes, that is to the Black Feather. I believe the Black Feather takes that Elder Treant.
Okay, we do have a little bit of a fight out. It looks like they do understand how strong that Ozo is in the early game, and they're just absolutely engaging right onto this Inara. There's absolutely no counter-invade going on, and the Finn is pretty strong in the early game. Adagio, we know how strong he is, and there we go. They already pick up that level 2. I really like this early game pressure that the side of the Watch Dogs is putting onto our old tournament winners of Pitudos.
I do like that as well. They know their win condition, right? They know they have Adagio and Ozo, both much stronger than the Black Feather, honestly, at level 1 and level 2. And I think, yes, what they did there was exactly what they wanted to do. And now, in the next couple of minutes, I think they should just keep this pressure up. They don't want Pitudos to get to late game on that Black Feather.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You don't want them to get there. I do like how they're the side of the Watchdogs here. This is really good macro. They're sharing onto the 2 carries the gold, but now Inara was able to get those 2 front treants. Ozo's now back onto the Inara, but that was a great B from the Inara to just push the Ozo right off it. It just canceled it right out. But Ozo's going to follow into the jungle. Fax is on. And there we go. Fax did end up getting that. And now Ozo's a little bit caught out, but Ozo's just going in for the 1v3. It's very, very strong early. The heal comes out from the Adagio. Adagio has some powered Bs and is going for the basic attacks, absolutely chunking down Papa Loki onto that Black Feather. However, the healing tree is picked up by the Ardent. It's not who he wants to go onto. The Ozo goes in, he gets healed up by the Adagio, and nobody dies. It was amazing that Pitudos was able to survive that and even pick up those 2 healing treants, but they are going to get the backs on the side of Watchdogs.
Honestly, gotta say from both teams that was beautiful play. That Ozo bounce should have killed at least somebody, but the well placed kick by the Inara to escape there. Honestly, that was really great play from both of them.
That's right. There was 2 beautiful banishing kicks coming out from the Inara. One was by the center treant, which is now being taken very cheeky by the side of Pitudos. And then the second was the one that you mentioned. Both of those should have resulted in a kill for the Ozo, but just Fax is doing an unbelievably good job of holding onto that banishing kick and using it to disengage.
Yep, so far I do like that Elix is being very aggressive. He knows he's stronger. Adagio not here though, so this is a 2v3 fight.
That's
that they have to disengage.
But the side of Pitudos does not know that. And if Adagio pops out of nowhere and starts healing and chunking people down, and Adagio does roll up now, they're not able to do much damage down to the Finn. He's just a big, tanky river troll. Fax and Papaloki are running away. Norman with that Arden is helping them escape a little bit. And now they're rotating through one more time to take the bottom backs again. This is the 3rd rotation that this side of Watchdogs has been able to take those backs from the side of Pitudos. I'd love to see a gold difference. What does this mean in terms of the early and mid game?
I think that the team of Watchdogs, they're definitely playing to their win condition. They know what they want, they know what they want to do, and they're executing in that sort of play. For the side of Pitudos, right, they just don't want to give any kills away, any potential further gold leads. And yeah, it's really important about the mid game. That is where the biggest change will be.
And there it is. The Adagio does chunk out that Black Feather. We weren't able to see it on stream, but we did see it pop up. Both of the... It looks like the Arden's a little bit low, but the Finn and the Adagio is a little bit low. The Ozo's level 6. They're going to have to be really careful. He can throw stun out there whenever he wants, and is going to be able to... That's a big stun. Black Feather does not have the level 6 yet. Fax is just trying to level up and to keep up with this Ozo, but so far is not able to... However, the gold difference is not that big. It's only about 1,500 gold difference right now at 5 minutes.
Even with the 1,500 gold, the Adagio is definitely still strong. Especially in mid-game, his damage is going to be through the roof, and the Black Feather will just not be able... Like, look at that damage.
There it
that
is.
trade
Black
is so
Feather just gets
one-sided.
absolutely exploded. It was a big stun. Black Feather does not have his ult to get out of anything yet. The Ozo's just absolutely healing up. This is the Finn and the Ozo in the bot half of the lane there, while Adagio's just pushing the minions into the turret. They understand that they can push the minions into the turret. They got the kill. They're going to go right for the gold mine. And if they're able to take this gold mine, that's just going to put a little bit more gold into their pockets and help them get through this mid game.
Yep, I really do like this, right? They are still pushing their advantage, and if they keep doing this, I think Watchdogs can win this game, as long as they don't make any big mistakes in terms of positioning and macro.
And there we go. Ozo does pick up the Serpent Smacks. Now, Ozo does have increased healing from all healing items in the game, so that's a little bit more effective on him than it is going to be on any of the heroes. And we already see an Adagio with an infusion. And what can an Adagio do with an infusion in the mid-game, Gumpy?
He can do a lot of stuff. He can nuke somebody. That's what he can do. A huge amount of damage with that bees, and if he gets the burn off, that is just GG. He just wins any straight matchup in terms of, like, against Black Feather, he will just burst him down.
Yep, Black Feather so far... Oh, and there we go, a huge Finn comes through. It's a 2-man pull, but they're able to escape with the help of it. Looks like the Anar ult. Now, the acro bounce is happening under turret. It was a really great Arden Gauntlet. He went just a little bit too deep, and the Ozo just throws his life away. That's going to be a pretty big bounty going on to the side of Pitudos. I didn't see who went on to, Gumpy. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that either, but gotta mention though, the Ozo was slightly overextended there, but also good gauntlet. from the Arden, keeping their under turret, and that is a death from Elix's team. So perhaps they're showing some sort of weakness now.
Yep, I think that I have to chalk that one up to just a big mistake by Ozo there. He went under a turret with a level 6 Arden without having a block. I'm not sure what he's thinking there.
Yep. Even though they still have 2.5k advantage, they're still in the lead, although not by much. And yeah, this is still going to be a very important time of the game. This is where the game I think will be decided, because if Elix team, if Watchdog's team does not get ahead or keep getting ahead, then I feel like Pitudos team might take it.
You know what? If you can get a CP Blackfeather into the late game, that can just do an absolutely huge amount of damage. He kind of has his own sustain. Meanwhile, looks like Ozo is doing a little bit of damage. They're kind of poking down the side of Pitudos. What are they trying to accomplish here in lane?
They really want to get that first turret to open up the map so they can have a better chance for ganks. Ozo really loves his ultimates. Yeah, they just really want that first turret. You can see that there's not many invades going into jungle, and it's just all pressured onto the lane.
Okay, well, Ozo picks up an infusion. He's ready for the next fight that's about to break out. It looks like they want to get some type of objective. They were pushing for the turret. Now they're kind of posturing for the gold mine, but they're not quite able to convert anything. How can they make sure that they're able to get an objective here in the next minute or so?
They just have to start a fight where the Adagio can get onto somebody and just burst them down. Maybe with an Ozo ultimate, or somebody taking the turret.
And here we go, a huge fight is breaking out. The Blackfeather does get that turret. He just pushes down and takes that turret absolutely by himself. The Ozo ultimate does come out onto the Blackfeather, but there was too much heal, and then the Vanguard comes out from the Arden to just heal up the Blackfeather, and in the end, an Adagio and the Ozo go down from the side of the Watchdogs. This is quickly turning into a disaster. They had a 2.5k to 3k gold lead at the highest point, but now it's down from 500, and with that 400, the Pitudos have taken the gold lead. It's completely switched around. Where did it go wrong for the Watchdogs?
Honestly, they just should have been even more aggressive into the jungle. Like, the first couple of minutes, I think, were excellent. Very good aggression. But then after that, they didn't keep that momentum going. And that just hinders them, right? As now that Pitudos is having some damage on his own, Blackfeather's gonna have his power spike, level 8. Really great power spike. And yeah, also just can't keep up with that damage.
Wow, this is just an absolute turnaround. It only took about 1 minute. At 8 minutes, we were talking about how the side of Watchdogs is taking objectives, and at 9 minutes, Pitudos has the gold lead. A 3k gold swing in just the span of about 1 minute. There's a reason that the Pitudos won the last tournament, and perhaps we're seeing a little bit of that right now.
Yep, 1k gold lead for the side of Pitudos. Gotta mention now that Watchdogs is slightly on the back foot, and yeah, this is going to be very important as well.
And there we go, a huge Ozo ultimate coming out. It does land onto the Blackfeather. They're trying to acro bounce him to death, but the Arden Gauntlet comes through, the Fountain comes through, and there we go. The Inara, they're just in time. She has that 15% advantage from the Crystal Miner. Everybody bounces off from each other. I don't know how nobody has died yet. We'll see if the side of the Watchdogs continues chasing. If they are, Ozo is looking like he wants to go in, but now they're backing off again. They're just content to take those front those front treants, and everybody bounces off from each other. Nobody dies. But now the side of Pitudos thinks they might have a little bit of advantage, and they're going in. However, Adagio does pop a weapon infusion for that speed. Blackfeather's extremely deep. I'm not sure what he's doing here. He uses his B to get a little bit of a barrier back, and there we go. The Inara does get a kill onto the Adagio. The Finn takes a kill onto the Inara. Now Blackfeather is just dancing, and he's dancing out. He's using his B to land a little bit of that barrier, and with the gauntlet he has the chase. However, there we go. The Ozo does land a giant stun, and he turns around and kills the Blackfeather. I don't think Blackfeather was expecting that. Then the Finn pull comes in, and now Ozo's on the chase. It's a 2v1. Arden is going to try to get away. He gets a little bit of a slow. The Finn and the Ozo just looks like they aren't going to have enough chase. Ozo pulls back. I'm not sure he should have, but he's content to just take the kill onto the Blackfeather. What happened there, Gumpy?
Honestly, that was a really enjoyable team fight, I gotta say. That was well played from both teams. And even with Ozo waiting till his ultimate is back up again, and that ultimately won his trade against Blackfeather. So the gold is pretty much back to even now, almost slightly. And now the thing is, still, Pitudos is much better into the late game. And If they want to win, if Watchdogs wants to win this game, they have to pick somebody out or just wait till Pitudos makes a mistake, like that Black Feather positioning, which was quite odd in the beginning of the team fight.
Yes, that Black Feather positioning looked a little bit odd, but you know what? It ended up working out to the end. It was perhaps just a little bit overextension right there at the end. He did not expect the Ozo ult to be up that quickly, and now it's 12 minutes. The Kraken is waking up. I believe we only had one gold miner taken. The gold is almost exactly even. However, we are moving a little bit more into that late game, so who's going to have the advantage here for the Kraken fights that we're going to see coming up?
I think as of right now, I think it's really up to the players themselves. They know how to fight, they know how to play. It's just team fighting and mechanics. How
And here we
well
go.
can you play with your team?
Gumpy, we have a giant team fight breaking out. There was an Inara hiding into the bush. The Ozo just walked right into the bush, and the Inara engaged it. However, this is a 4v3. I don't know why Pitudos is fighting around that Crystal Sentry. The Adagio ultimate comes up, and the Finn B is perfectly timed to pull the Inara right back in. The Ozo acro bounce goes right on to the Inara, and that is 2 kills. For some reason, Pitudos thought that they could win a fight around that Crystal Miner, but it turns out instead that the side of the Watchdogs is able to just turn it around and get the kills. Perhaps Pitudos thought they got further ahead in those last 2 team fights, and it gave them a little bit of overconfidence. What do you think happened there, Gumpy?
I think so too. That sentry there, he's no joke. He is the real deal. That sentry does a lot of damage, plus the slow as well. So it's basically, as you say, a 4v3. Watchdogs taking the Kraken. I think that is pretty much a given at this point. I have to say they played that team fight really well too, considering what they had, the advantage. So good job to Watchdogs.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Ozo's just going to recall to get a little bit of energy back. They did take the Kraken, but the side of Pitudos, it does have every single turret up, so this might be one, at most 2 turrets, unless there's some serious mistakes coming out.
Yep, I think it's definitely at least 2 turrets. Although Ozo is not there, so that is a lot of damage going down from the Kraken. And yeah, the turret goes down at least, but there is only 1 turret.
And they're a great Crucible. It blocks out that Ozo ult. That's going to be the biggest thing that you want to block out besides the Finn stun. And there it is. It was just 1.5 turrets, and that's just 1,500 gold. I think the side of Pitudos is actually going to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, to be honest, I would have rather just them push the first turret without the Kraken, and then just have the Kraken push the other turrets that are a little bit harder to reach. Yeah, so first turret goes down, so that's something for them. But there is also 1,500 gold for the set of Pitudos, so they as you say, they're quite happy about this.
Yeah, I think that was actually a net win. Once they lost that team fight, everything that's happened since then has been a net win for the side of Pitudos. I'm questioning that Ozo recall. That was just such a strange recall. Perhaps he thought he could get back faster, but by the time he was back in the lane, the Kraken was already more than half health down.
Yep, it could have also been that the... Oh, I think a fight might break out
Interesting,
really
there was an
soon.
Inara ult for a little bit of disengage, and they've identified that Adagio needs to go down first, and he does it. Instantly goes down. The Ozo does have a lot of sustain, however, this is a 2v3, and it's probably not going to be enough, and no, the side of Pitudos knows exactly who they need to focus, even though that it's 1 infusion versus 3 infusion. That is an ace coming down for the side of Pitudos, and that is a team fight 1. This is absolutely back and forth, with only a 2k gold difference this deep in the game. This is just amazing games to watch.
Really, truly, much better than the first games. These are very close. Gotta say though, right? We see that Pitudo's team, they understand they need to go for Adagio. He is the big dude that can nuke a person right away. And you see that Inara, that Black Feather, just all dive onto the Adagio. And once he is down, the Ozo just can't do anything by himself. So they team fought much better here, the side of Pitudos. That was a proper team fight, and if they do this again, I think they can win this game. If they keep fighting exactly like that.
See, I think one of the comp things as we start to get into the late game is that the side of the Watchdogs is not able to really get any engage on the sides of Pitudos. They want to get that Adagio in to do damage, but the team fights are 100% decided from when the Pitudos want to fight. Because even if they land an Ozo stun or a Finn pull, the disengage that comes through from the Inara, as we see another teamfight break out, this is exactly what I was talking about. The Pitudos are able to just engage whenever they want to, and they're able to go right back onto the Adagio, burst him down before Ozo can even get into the fight, and now both the carries are down. They're probably not even going to bother to kill the Finn because they're already onto the Kraken.
Yep, same thing again, right? They go for the Adagio. And same with the also they just have the late game. Blackfeather and Inara with that tension boat too is just so much burst. And yeah, this is well played from Pitudos.
That's right. I just don't understand how the side of Watchdogs expects to engage at this point. Because even if they catch somebody out, Arden has the gauntlet. You have the Inara has her banishing kick. The Blackfeather has his own disengage with his ultimate. It just really doesn't seem like there's a way that the side of the Watchdogs are even able to engage or take a fight. And there we go. We have another fight breaking out. He does land the stun, but Papa Loki doesn't even bother to block it. He understands that not enough damage is going to come out with a mispositioned Adagio. And there we go. One more time. They are trying to get onto the Adagio. Are they going to be able to kill him? No, they just take him back into the base. So that's good for the side of the Watchdogs. However, Ozo is perhaps staying for a little bit too long. He does go down. Now you have the Finn and the Adagio. Oh, Blackfeather does go down, but also the Adagio. So now we have the Arden and the Inara versus just the Finn alone. And with a 25-second game timer, it does look like the side of Pitudos is going to take down game one with this Kraken push.
Well, that is a GG to both teams. That was a very exciting game, gotta say. It was back and forth. However, I think it all comes back to the very beginning, that level 6 sort of phase. You know, after didn't keep the momentum going, and you see, this is what I was talking about when we say like the late game, right? Blackfeather and Inara, they have the superior late game over Ozo and Adagio. So Adagio and Ozo, they want to be engaging much harder than this, like they did at level 1, level 2, and level 3.
Mm-hmm.
But because they didn't keep this going, I think that is ultimately why they lost this game.
Ban Viola. Or Viola, however you say it.
Mm-hmm. One of those.
Yeah.
Pitudos ban. Watchdogs ban.
Inara.
Pitudos ban. And Watchdogs pick.
Okay, we'll go. We went back. Baptiste.
Pitudos pick. Fifteen seconds. And Pitudos ban. Watchdogs ban.
Turn ban.
and Watchdog's pick.
Green.
Ten seconds.
I said Arden. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Arden?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, cool. And then Pitudos pick.
It's good.
And Pitudos goes with the Idris. And there we go. Back to Watchdogs. Rounded out for us. $15 seconds.
Yes, we're going Magnus.
Magnus?
Yes, sir.
All right. There we have it. The Pitudos draft is really interesting. I like the Petal picked right after the Baptiste. That Petal is just going to be able to block out the Baptiste A. However, the Magnus pick into the Petal is quite strong. It's one of the most strong picks against Petal because the Munions just make it so easy to hit everything. Especially your A is just going to bounce off and do damage onto the entire enemy team. However, I'm very excited to see a Lyra Idris come through. If Lyra's able to land any huge portals onto, say, the Magnus, it's gonna be pretty much a GG for whoever they land that onto. And if Idris can get past that really tough early game, it can be such a hard pick to play against later on in the game. It just gets so strong and scales so well.
I think especially, at least early game, I would give it to Watchdogs. Idris just... Well, it's Idris. Even before his perk, he's just kind of like a big minion. I think that he's just not really worth. So I think we could see some invades coming out from Watchdogs. They could definitely push it. And then once we get to mid game, it's going to be very interesting how well the Idris can do things, because we all know Idris, especially when you go the hybrid way, it's a very good pick, I think, as long as you stay with it and you don't just get snowballed.
Yep. Well, I think what they're going to try to do is use that Petal Lyra to get the Idris into that mid and late game, and then the Petal is going to be able to just add so much extra healing on top of that Lyra. Really, this is just I'm almost expecting to see just a feed the Idris game once the Petal starts getting a little bit ahead, if the Petal's able to get ahead early game.
Yep. I'm a bit interested again when it comes to Watchdog's side, because they have a Baptiste and a Magnus, and I'm pretty sure that Magnus is going to go CP. I'm pretty sure that's a given. And then the Baptiste as well. CP is the preferred path. I guess weapon can work too, I've seen that. But most likely, I think this is going to be a double CP game.
I could.
Which is
why
not
not? Why not
optimal.
utility? Why not a little bit of utility? A utility jungle and just get that Magnus super fed up.
I could see that as well. Utility Baptiste with the low cooldowns, I think is definitely viable. Although against the Petal and Idris, both of them, they're probably going to have stacking items. And yeah, I think late game as well, I'd give it to Pitudos.
Well, that sounds like maybe the early game goes to Pitudos and the late games goes to Pitudos. What does the side of Watchdogs have, Gumpy? What's their win condition?
If they've seen game one, they just need to be more aggressive. They had great momentum the previous game, excellent rotation at level 1 and level 2, but they just need to keep it going. They need to get that momentum and just kill them before it can grow.
All right. And we're live, Gumpy.
Ooh.
We're 5 minutes into the game. Break it down for us. What's going on?
Well, crap, I had to see the game, but I think it's 0-0, I believe, right? So nothing happened, so we didn't miss any kills at all, and Petal is level 6, that is a big power spike for her. Yes, that is. Ooh, I can count the pixels. That is that is. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so Petal, she's really getting strong right now. Her ultimate is such a good good power spike.
Yep, that's exactly right. It looks like the gold is exactly even. It's off by about 300. So whatever happened in the early game, it's been exactly even. What does that spell moving into the mid game if both the teams have even gold now at 5.5 minutes?
Well, when you say whatever happened, I think nothing happened if the gold is even and there is no kills. But I think like it's an Idris, right? You want to be pushing. You want to be pushing way harder than this because once you get to that late game, Idris is gonna output some great damage, and he already has his perk, which is expected.
Yep, we know that once that Idris gets that perk, he gets super, super strong. So it looks like the Petal just helping the Idris level up. It looks like the Idris is even coming down to share a little bit of gold. That's exactly what you want to see because Idris in that late game is going to be the win condition. He's going to try to engage probably onto the Magnus and just burst him down. If it gets past a certain point, then probably there's not much you can do against that late game Idris.
Yeah, everyone, I am sorry if you can count the pixels. That I can as well. But that's the best we have at this moment. And yeah, I think everybody's taking it quite easy, and Pitudos might be liking it a little bit more than the Watchdogs. They got the time.
There we go. And there we go. The
Ooh.
Magnus does get a kill onto the Idris, so the Idris does go down. The Magnus getting the kill is exactly who you want it to go on to. Hopefully, we're going to be able to watch the rest of this game without any more difficulties.
Yeah, this is an incredible slideshow, I gotta say. This is very nice. Um, well, but Idris goes down. Not the strongest hero just yet. He still needs some time. And I think Pitudos, I don't think they're that sad about this, because they are the ones that can afford to get behind, even by a little bit. It is an Idris after all, and I believe they're already happy that they haven't gotten bigger invades into their team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're gonna have to wait a second to. Whoops. We're gonna have to wait a second to see the goal difference if that able to pop up. Sorry about the quality of the stream here, folks. But it looks like no, not another fight is not breaking out at the moment. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell with the frame rate that we have here.
I think Mizu said that her stream might be better.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
see.
Folks, if Mizu's stream is better, then you can hop over and watch that stream instead. I'm going to give that a shot. All right.
Well, it is smoother. I can still count the pixels, but it
Okay.
also not at the same time. So they are taking gold miner. Look at that leash. This is out of vision, and this is going to be an easy gold miner for the side of Pitudos. Exactly. They understand that they had an opening, an opportunity, and they took it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gumpy. So it does look like that the paddle now is just rotating around to the back side. And did the first turret go down for the side of the Pitudos here?
Well, I think Pitudo's first turret is still up, I believe, but I'm not sure about the other side.
That's what I meant. It looks like the Watchdog, the Pitudos took the first turret. Sorry, I phrased that a little bit wrong.
Oh no, what happened with stream? Oh, there we go. So here we go. A fight might break out very soon.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. They are fighting around that crystal tree, and the Idris does go down again. The Pitudos is being a little bit too aggressive. The Lyra is super low. Then here we go. The side of the Watchdogs is absolutely just chasing down. The Lyra also goes down. The Petal's the only one left alive, and they were maybe biting off a little bit more than they could chew there. They were going for a fight around that crystal train, which is a mistake that we saw last game. It's again, that's that 4v3 where they think that they're stronger than they actually are, but that crystal miner just hurts more than you expect it would.
I think they were not wanting to fight. I think they just wanted to take the sentry, and it just took longer than they were expecting it to be. Fearsome Shade coming out though, and that is death from Pitudos team again, 0-4.
Wow, look at that. The Pitudos are 0-4 after winning that first game. Once again, I didn't see the gold. I'm going to try to pay attention for the next time that comes out, but it looks like that side of the Watchdogs know exactly what they're doing with this draft and what their win condition is. So far, it's working out. If they're able to keep pushing and make sure that the Idris doesn't get too far ahead, this is looking pretty good for the side of Watchdogs.
Yep, I think so. I think so too. Magnus, he has that range. He is very safe from everything. And if anybody would get onto him, they have that Arden. You have that Arden that can give him a Vanguard, and also the Baptiste, which can have defensive peel if necessary.
Okay, and now we see, like, this is, being a pedal main myself, I really love to see these types of pedal builds, where you go for that one Dragon's Eye, and then you just stack tier 2 items. It's just about getting as much raw crystal power into your kit as you possibly can. It increases the Munion's health, it increases their damage, and more so than anything else, it makes that heal absolutely huge. You're going to be able to keep that Idris alive, and even the Lyra alive, for a very long time with that much heal in your kit.
Yeah, I have a sort of love and hate relationship with Petal. I'm not a big fan of her. Oh, there are some stream difficulties again.
Little bit of stream difficulties. So not the best quality in this stream, but at least we are able to see the games, folks. And it looks like the side of the Pitudos decides to start this Kraken. Is this just a bait, or are they actually going to try to continue on with this Kraken? It looks like they are, even though the entire side of Watchdogs is there. They're pulling this Kraken all the way up to the lane. Now they're finally turning around, and the side of the Watchdogs is not sure if they want to engage, how they're going to go there. And there it is. Finally, the gauntlet does come through. The Baptiste Ordains goes down. I'm not sure who it goes down to, but the Idris goes down. They use the Ordain on the Idris. He goes down. They know exactly who they need to target. The Kraken goes to the side of the Pitudos, but now it's just a 2v3, and I think the side of the Watchdogs is going to be absolutely happy with this. They're probably going to take that Kraken before a single turret even goes down. They got a kill onto the Idris. It's going to be 1,500 gold into their pockets. That was a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah, I would call it that. That was such a messy fight, to be honest, with the Kraken still being at very low health and nobody last hitting. And oh, Lyra going in though. That is a portal. I'm sure she just wants to do some pressure. This turret might go down. I think it probably will. They don't have enough siege. They don't really have any big DPS units on the side of Watchdogs. But Idris is here, and they will clear the jungle. They'll take the sentry, and this is pretty standard for Pitudos.
Yeah, this is maybe an even trade. Actually, couldn't have gone any better for this side of Pitudos. Once that Idris went down, they still got a turret. They got the whole jungle. One thing I kind of want to draw attention to is that we have a CP Baptiste, which is something that you were talking about earlier, that they were going to have to go double CP.
Yep, and you can already see it on the pedal. He has Shroud, and Shroud honestly against double CP is just such a good item, and just so much shields and then HP, and then of course the active too, or the passive, I guess.
Yeah, and it looks like
I think that that could be the deciding factor once we get later into the game, once both have Shroud.
Yep, it looks like the Petal now is itemizing for a Crucible. So if she has her own Shroud, and then that's going to probably be 2 Crucibles. One's going to be for the Fearsome Shade, probably another one for the Gauntlet, or perhaps the Magnus ult. If they can get those Crucibles lined up correctly, perhaps they're going to have the Idris stay alive for long enough and put out enough damage to finally get a kill.
Yep, and as we see, the fight's going on, nobody's really engaging because, well, it's a Magnus, right? He's not really the engaged hero, and the other side is Idris, and he just doesn't want to go in. He's going to get Fearsome Shaded and all sorts of stuff, and that's where we see sort of like a Mexican standoff here, where like neither team is just really wanting to engage. But I guess like the Kraken here will do with that.
Yep. Now we do see the second fight happening around the Kraken. Pitudos did start it up once again, but they learned from their last mistake. It's something that you like to see. They backed off a little bit, and now Petal uses her trampoline to go in. She's trying to engage directly onto that Magnus, but a huge fearsome shade comes through that is not blocked inside of the gauntlet. Now they're just focusing down the Arden. You can see those Petal ultimates coming through. They're doing about 500 heal each. The Magnus ult comes through. It does land, but it doesn't do enough damage onto anybody. Everybody's staying along for such a long time. There comes out the Fountain and another Petal heal, 452 each. The Crystal Miner does go down. Everybody just seems to bounce off of each other. A little bit of a freeze, not sure what's going on. But so far, both teams are about half health, but you have way more heal on the side of the Pitudos. So they're going to be able to use the heal on those longer team fights. If they keep going on for that long amount of time, they can just keep healing up over and over again. And there's not much that this side of the Watchdogs can do.
Yep, that Lyra Petal combo is really nasty. And on top of that, the Idris, which probably has a Serpent's Mask as well, if that's the hybrid build. And there's Baptiste. Oh no, and I think Baptiste might be just AFK again. That is unfortunate.
Well, we did see it the first game.
Down here too.
Yeah, it looks like Arden's going to go down. However, he lands a huge stun, the Magnus does, on to the Idris, and then the Arden is able to use the Vanguard to get out, so he does eventually get out. That's actually huge that the Arden doesn't go down there, so it's not just a 1v3. However, it looks like the Baptiste, he did have a couple of connection issues in the first game, and now in the second game, we have another AFK coming through from the Baptiste, and a huge Magnus ult comes out. It's not quite enough to kill the Petal, even though he does have the burn on, but the Petal was not able to go down. We did see a heal come through. Idris might also be AFK, though. So this is an actual 2v2, folks. We have an AFK Idris versus an AFK Baptiste. Guppy, break it down to us. Who's doing the DDoSes?
Who should we throw a shade to? Yeah, I think it's Team Humpers, honestly. They've always been kind of sus. Everybody just forfeiting randomly, you know? So I think Team Humpers might have more behind them than they choose to say.
This is very questionable gameplay. I do not recommend this, folks. I do not recommend you going AFK in the middle of an elimination game. This is not how you get the win in the tournament.
Yep, indeed. And now, I think even in the 2v2, right, we have the Petal, you have the Magnus. A very awkward matchup, if I have to say, because Petal will never get really close to Magnus without him peeling. And yeah, it's really going to be up to the objective, how they play around objectives, you know, taking Kraken or something else to Sentry. And I think that is the only way how they will really start a team fight. But I think Idris is still AFK in base.
He is, and I don't see a Baptiste yet either. This game might just come down, you hate to see it, but it might just come down to which team member can get back online the fastest.
Yep, at this point I have to say I don't think we can restart the game. It's been 20 minutes.
Nope.
And yeah, the game is...
Idris is back.
This game will...
Idris is back, Gumpy.
Oh, let's go. I really hope that Baptiste can come back too. It would be such a shame to...
You would hate to see it go down that way. You would hate to see it go down that way. But if that's the way that it is, then there's not much that we can really do. And Baptiste is back. We're back to a full 3v3. Absolutely nothing happened while we had the AFKs. And a fight is breaking down. A huge fearsome shade lands onto the Idris, but he's not able to do any additional damage. The Petal is just staying up absolutely forever with all of that defense and all of that healing coming out from both herself and the Lyra. They're trying to engage on the Magnus, but they're not able to. The Magnus disengage is just too strong. Baptiste was maybe a little bit too deep. He goes down. The Kraken is up. This is now a 3v2, and the Magnus and the Arden are just have to back off after that Baptiste goes down. Looks like the side of Pitudos won that fight pretty cleanly.
Yep, I gotta say I'm really happy that both players could be coming back into the game. That is much better. And yeah, I think Pitudos is slowly but surely. You see the Idris being confident. You see him just jumping into the team fight onto the Magnus. He has his eye for him. He knows the win condition, and that's what he does. Now that Idris is really getting online.
Yep, that's right. And now we see a little bit of another team fight breaking out, and it's exactly like you said, Gumpy, with into that late game, the Shroud doing so much work into this double CP. The Magnus just keeps trying to throw out that B to just do a little bit of poke damage, but poking doesn't work when you have a Lyra on your team. She can just heal all that poke right back up. The Magnus tries to steal it with the ult, and it looks like the Arden gets the steal. Huge play. This game is going to keep going on. They have the minions pushing down the lane, and they got the Kraken. Gumpy, what just happened?
Ooh, that was such an excellent steal by Arden. He even survived. Like, he didn't just go for a suicide mission. He took that Kraken and left like a boss, like a dad he is. And that is, unfortunately, that is 1500 to the side of Pitudos. But I think they will get the turret, yes. So that is a turret for Watchdogs.
Yeah, it is one turret going down. That's a little bit more map pressure. It's going to cause the team of the Pitudos to have to be maybe just a tiny bit more careful if the side of Watchdogs decides to invade in the jungle. It looks like there's a whole lot of CP coming out. I didn't see Idris's build yet, but yeah, the only weapon power in the entire game is a Serpent's Mask on Idris. This is just pure CP from both teams.
Yep, and I think like with the Idris, right, the Shroud is not going to be as useful as he's mostly like a basic attack hero. But on the other side, Magnus really is hurting with all those Shrouds.
And there we go. We see a huge Lyra portal jump in. The Petal tries to use a trampoline in, but she gets stunned twice from the gauntlet. Not exactly sure what's happening yet. Petal did also go back through the portal. So she trampolined, got stunned twice, went backwards through the portal. That was an absolute disaster. But somehow, Pitudos with that Idris and Lyra were able to just chase down and still get the kill onto the Baptiste, even with all the mistakes that were made from that little bit of a messy start to the team fight.
Yep. And look at Idris, right? He's so confident, so much damage potential he has, and he has that dash, the blink even, and his ultimate, and he knows that he is really strong at this point of the game, now that he's pretty much full build, and yeah, the team fight is much favored to the side of Pitudos.
Well, Gumpy, this has been a completely one-sided match so far. The side of the Pitudos are up 7k gold. What can this side of Watchdogs do to even try to get a win here?
Honestly, it really depends on if Pitudos makes a mistake. If they take a fight that is just not for them, and if they miss position, then Watchdogs can definitely win here. I think it's just, yeah, so much sustain. The Petal, the Lyra, and then even the Serpent's Mask from Idris. They have so much healing on top of all the damage. And Kraken taken again.
And here we go. There's another Kraken fight happening. A little bit of a stream freeze, but it does go through to the side of Pitudos this time, and a huge team fight is breaking down. Arden is getting almost all the way to his health taking away. And with that sustain from the Lyra and the Petal, they have completely 3 full health bars while both the Arden and the Baptiste goes down. With 50-second death timers, is there anything that this Magnus is going to be able to do? But no, a portal comes through. He tries to use the block. The Petal throws out her ultimate, which also does a little bit of a slow, and she's going to be able to just stick to this Magnus. That's an ace. That's a Kraken. They're marching down the lane. That's going to be the end of Game 2 is going to go to Pitudos, which means that the match goes down 2-0.
Yep, and that will be the end of the best of 3. That is a clean 2-0 from the side of Pitudos. Well fought, though, from Watchdogs, gotta say. They put up a really good fight.